Welcome once again to yet another edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I hope that you are having a great evening. I can't believe it's finally here. High school football week 1 is in the books. We've got an exciting week 2, and I'm excited about my next guest. He has been covering local sports in Columbus for over 40 years. He is a member of the 2023 class in the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. He's been a sports anchor. He's currently at Pacelli. I'm privileged to welcome to the Sports Beat once again, Dave Platta.
Thank you very much, Richard. Glad to be here.
All right, Dave. So tell us your thoughts so far in week 1. Now, you were at Pacelli at Diamond Field for that game against Stratford Academy. How did that game turn out?
Yes, sir. Pacelli ended up losing to Stratford 27-13. They scored on their very first drive, ran into a little bit of troubles, but they never gave up. They ended up scoring late in the fourth quarter. It was a little bit too late. It's a growing pains for those Pacelli Vikings because they'll be hitting the road this week to take on Tatnall Square.
Exactly, and they'll be back home at Diamond Field taking on the defending GIAA champions, First Presbyterian Day. I know you'll be on the call for that. When you look at week 1 in high school football, you've covered high school football in Columbus for well over 40 years, and so you know the atmosphere, and it just means a lot to this community. But what is your favorite thing about covering high school football on a Friday night and just getting those highlights and just getting that footage that everybody loves seeing?
It was just so much fun. It was a challenge, of course, to get everything, bring it back, and turn it into something intelligible because we were always at so many games. It's just the atmosphere around it and being part of this, where all the fans are just so into what's going on. The players, everybody it's a way of life on Friday nights in the South, in Georgia and in Alabama, and it's just fun to be a part of that.
Yes, week 1 in the books for Georgia. Week 1 for Alabama is coming up this Friday. Some intriguing matchups. I'll be on the call for Glenwood and Valley as Glenwood's making their GHSA or their AHSAA debut, and Central is taking on Pinson Valley. It's a nice reunion for Coach Patrick Nix as he's going to face his former team, the team that he led to a state championship, and his son, Bo Nix, who's now the quarterback with the Denver Broncos, getting passing yards at Pinson Valley. And, he's taking that offense to Central, where you have a quarterback in Andrew Alford, who's just throwing up passing numbers, and he looks phenomenal. I think right now Central is the team to beat in 7A. But you also have the State Line Showdown. You got Smith Station and Shaw. Russell County's hosting Carroll. A lot of great matchups in Alabama. I know that you covered high school football on Fox 54 with your scoreboard show, and I think that you have a passion for this, Dave. I mean, I've seen your show, and I absolutely love it. What does that mean to cover all these teams, and not just in the Tri-City area, but you covering teams like Harris County, LaGrange, Troup County, Schley County, going over to Central Talbotton, just giving love to these schools who normally doesn't get the highlights on the sports talk shows late at night because a lot of times their games don't get covered.
Well, yeah, it's the smaller schools in the area that's what's important, going out there and getting everybody involved, because they're just as passionate about their teams as everybody else. They're just fewer in number in terms of the towns and smaller towns, but in smaller towns, that's one of the central things to do that holds the town together, holds the whole area together, not just the town. In a lot of cases, the entire county. Everybody goes there. It's a bonding thing. It's just home folks at home enjoying the hometown stuff and giving them the recognition that the folks are out there. We know they're there, and sometimes some really, really good football going on too. That doesn't hurt anything. I mean, look what Manchester and Sly County did last season.
Oh, there's no question about that. Probably the game of the week was Harris County, Manchester. Saw the video footage on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It's been getting incredible views. It seems like the entire town of Manchester, the entire Mayweather County was at that game. And then everybody in Waverly Hall, Hamilton, Pine Mountain, Ellerslie, they all drove up 85 to Manchester and filled the visitor side of the stadium. It was an incredible sight to see. I mean, it looked like it was the most packed Manchester football game since the semifinal game last year in the playoffs against Telfair County. I mean, Manchester loves their football, and they did come up short. They did lose to Harris County 16-8. But I think this Manchester team, you got Justice Terry, one of the best defensive linemen in the country. DeMonte Prather in his first year. I think that Manchester is going to battle with a Bowden or a Schley County to try to win a state championship in single A.
Yeah, they lost. I mean, they took a lead into the fourth quarter against a 4A team. This is a 1A team. Think about that. They played up 3 classifications, and that's not a knock at Harris County either, but Harris County played well, and they're going to make the playoffs. It's just 2 really good ball clubs. As for Manchester, yeah, you look at Justice Terry and what he has contributed and just how good he is, a good solid core to that team that, of course, made it to the state finals last year. Just remember, in Georgia, I think there was in excess of 10 upsets of ranked teams in the opening week. From what I've read, it may have been the highest number of upsets in an opening week ever in high school football. Wow. One of the teams that lost, by the way, was Bowden. So everything's up for grabs. Sly ended up losing if I remember correctly, Sly wound up losing to Seminole County. Yeah, yep. By one. Yeah, it was a tight ball game. This one's up for grabs. There's a lot of really good football. And just remember, in single A, you've got 7 players in the top 100. This area, the state is stacked with high school football talent, and good number of it is here. It's going to be a fun year.
There's no question about that, Dave. And I also feel Carver moving down a classification to 2A. I think they got to be one of the favorites in 2A. I know Callaway lost to Cass. I mean, that was a blowout
Cass is
loss.
4A.
Cass is 4A, exactly.
They're 4A. Come on.
Yeah, remember, they lost to Cedartown a couple years ago, and they started 0-3, and they had a deep playoff run. Callaway's going to be in the mix. I'm still optimistic that it's a Carver-Callaway state championship in 2A, but it's like everybody in the outskirts of Columbus, in the Chattahoochee Valley, saying, well, not so fast. What about Pierce County, the defending champions? What about Stevens County? What about Thompson, just outside of Augusta? There's some great football in the entire state of Georgia, and I don't want to exclude them, but I'm just a believer in what Coach Pierre Coffey is doing at Carver. I mean, they are loaded at wide receiver. I mean, they have one of the top wide receivers in the state in the class of 2026, Tristan Givens. They have, you have Braylon Jakes, who had over 100 yards receiving. You have Kobe Caslin. They are loaded at wide receiver. They also have Matthew Mungden, who's coming in as a junior. And, of course, Carver's defense is deep. I mean, they beat a Whitewater team. This Whitewater team is very good. They missed out on the playoffs last year because they were in the same region with LaGrange, Troup County, Stars Mill, and Trinity Christian. But they're still a great team. I thought Carver held their own. They got the win, and now they get to play in the Heritage Bowl. And, Dave, you've covered a lot of Heritage Bowls in your career. What is special just about that pageantry, the tailgating, A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium? There's not a sight like it.
No, there's not. I mean, the folks that are in that game are passionate about it. And for years, it wasn't even really a close game, but folks were turning out for it. Now remember, Spencer, they've won some region championships recently. Spencer is trying to make a bid to get in there and say, hey, don't forget about us. Spencer has a shot at making
Right.
a playoff run too now. So this game, this is, and it hasn't been a region game for a while. This one's now a region game, and the winner of this one may walk in there as the team to beat in the region. So there's a lot riding on the line there at McClellan Memorial Stadium.
Well, there's no question about it. 7 of the 8 public schools in Columbus are all in the same region. You also got to add Sumter County, which, by the way, they did lose to Crisp County. Sumter County is one of the favorites in this region as well. And when you look at the top of the region, you think of Carver, Spencer, Sumter County. You could throw a Shaw, Hardaway, Columbus. But I would not sleep on Kendrick. Kendrick went up to Marietta and beat the Walker School 38-0. I'm a believer in what Kendrick is doing, and Coach Emmanuel Brown, Coach Mayo, his first year at Kendrick. Tymir Brown had over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Do you think that Kendrick is a team that could possibly sneak in to get that 4th playoff spot?
It's wide open. Anything is possible. Emmanuel Brown has been a good coach there. He's been an assistant at Kendrick for a while. And remember, he's a pretty good linebacker back in the day. Back when the last time Kendrick made the playoffs, he was their star linebacker. And so Brown, Emmanuel Brown's a good coach, and him getting a chance to be a head coach for the first time, it's a pretty big deal. We'll see how well things go for him.
Yeah, when they get into region play, I think it's up for grabs, especially the way Kendrick is playing. They take on Best Academy this Friday. Then they will be hosting their home opener at Kinnett Stadium against Crawford County. We will have that game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Kendrick could be starting 3-0. And then I think that playoff spot is up for grabs. I love the fact that all these teams are playing region games now. We're bringing back the Midtown Showdown between Hardaway and Columbus. That's going to be exciting. Football is back, Dave. I'm excited about it in Georgia and in Alabama. So before I let you go, I do want to talk about the Kickoff for a Cause. This is something that you and DJ Jones has co-hosted together last year. Just talk about that, doing that relationship, with Columbus State, Kickoff for a Cause. Just tell my audience a little bit about that and what you guys got going on.
Yeah, it's the Kickoff for a Cause. I was part of it last season. It was great. The Ann Elizabeth Shepherd Home, we're raising money for them, but it's a chance to take care of a charity that really could use the help. It's for a really good cause. And the beauty of it, of course, is it's basically rooted around college football. This is more of a college football introduction because the season's about to start. And we got Georgia, we got Alabama, Auburn is starting to make noise. And there's, of course, all the other schools in the area, the HBCUs, the D2s. You've got Troy. I mean, there's a lot of college football fans, not just for the big boys, but everybody getting together, raising some money, getting a chance to take a look at some really cool stuff that gets raffled off, auctioned off, and just kind of hang out and just football's here. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah, some other schools I do want to throw out, Dave. West Georgia, finally in the FCS, and then you have Mercer, passionate football fans there. LaGrange College up the road, NCAA Division III. Over at Callaway Stadium. How about Kennesaw State making their FBS debut in Conference USA? And, of course, the former Carver head football coach Del McGee over at Georgia State. They got a tough opener against Georgia Tech. I mean, I can't believe college football is here as well, Dave. I'm excited. Just before I let you go, just tell all my audience how they can follow you on social media and just talk briefly about your website and basically the update on what's going on with you.
All right. Well, I have begun a new job now. I am now at Pacelli High School. I am their mass media specialist, which means I'll be teaching classes, and I'll also be doing things to help promote the school, doing videos and such, getting the word out about Pacelli High School. And of course, I'll be doing play-by-play for the football games that we do on our webcasts. It's going to be a lot of fun. And getting a chance to do this and to take the role as a teacher is kind of neat. This is my first year, my first year at it, my first try at it. I've been in a couple of weeks, and it's been quite an experience working with the kids. They're very receptive, and they seem to be excited about getting an opportunity to learn all kinds of cool stuff. And they know some of the technology that I don't. I'm actually learning from them a little bit too. It's like I said, it's been great.
Dave, I always appreciate you coming on the show. I love talking high school football with you, college football. You really have been a staple in Columbus, and I'm just excited about your next chapter and just looking forward to seeing what you got going on.
I appreciate that, sir. You're doing a great job out there, and I really appreciate getting the chance to come on your show.
All right, that's Dave Platta, everybody. He is a longtime broadcaster in Columbus, just covers everything in the Fountain City. That's it. That's our show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you next time.